Hello everyone. Well, I've noticed that a lot of people on YouTube are making videos talking about the Beatles anthology. After all, this year of 2025 marks 30 years as an anniversary of when the anthology first came out, and it roped in a whole new generation of Beatles fans. And I think that's the reason that they're doing this again, and I think it's fantastic, trying to get young people interested in the Beatles once more for a whole new generation. So I thought what I would do is join the crowd, because for a while I held off on this. I was thinking of doing this months ago, and I said, nah, why bother? Let's wait to see what comes out to talk about it. Then I thought, well, if they're doing it, I can do it. And I said, I'm going to do it. So here I am, showing you some stuff that I have in my collection of anthology material, and also, more importantly, I'm going to speculate what we think is going to be coming later on this year for the new revamped Beatles anthology project. Now, I want to make sure that you people join the conversation. So please, in the comments below, let me know your wants, wish list, likes, dislikes, things you want, things you don't want to see again. How do you feel about this? Are you thrilled about it? Are you excited? Or do you feel indifferent? Let it all hang out. All right, well, to start with, taking this stuff out brings back memories, because a lot of this stuff I haven't looked at in a while. Let's take a look. I'm going to do some show and tell first, and then we'll discuss possible release items, okay, that are going to come out and stuff. Okay, here we have the VHS set. You know, it's funny, this VHS set was the first thing, of course, that I got after the program was shown on television. It was a big TV event. I couldn't wait to get my hands on a physical media copy, and here it is in a box. VHS tapes. Anybody remember those? Love the way they lined up there and kind of made the the photo, the grand painting, if you will, of the Beatles. Let's just take one of these out, because after all, people don't see VHS tapes very often anymore. There's the first one, part 1. And there's the tape for you young people. I feel funny that I have to talk about VHS like it's an old dinosaur. But anyway, yeah, you took that tape and you just put it in the player, watch the show on the reels. And, you know, it's funny, because in years since this time, I actually wanted to sell this because I don't really need it anymore. I thought, you know, I have DVDs, and hopefully one day a Blu-ray. So do I really need the VHS edition? I tried to sell it. You know what? Nobody wanted to buy it because VHS was not popular anymore. Well, guess what? I've decided that I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it because I'm a collector, and you know what? It's so great to have it. And I like that scheme of photos there that you see that make the grand picture. Anyway, then I upgraded to DVD. Here's the DVD set, much smaller, as you can see. Much smaller. And pulling out one of those discs here, volumes 3 and 4 together, and there it is, the disc, just like an apple, the apple design. All right, let us continue along here. Now, I wonder how many of you out there had this monstrosity, which is a Laserdisc collection of the Beatles anthology documentary. I'm going to show you this. I never owned a Laserdisc player. This is something, again, that I picked up as a collectible in later years for the anthology. All right, this is a huge box, weighs a ton, and you pull it out, and there, my friends, we have the Laserdiscs. What are Laserdiscs? What were Laserdiscs, past tense? There's a little coupon for you. Okay, well, let's go through that, and we shall find out. I'm going to take out just one of these. You can see those are all the volumes. These are like the size of record albums, 12-inch size. You take them out. These are probably fun to look at, each one individually. This is part 8. Part 8. It's like a record album, just like you have a sleeve, only I hate when the corners get bent, folks, but it is what it is. But this is what Laserdiscs were like. You watched the actual movie on one of these if you had a Laserdisc player. They're like CDs, only they're gigantic. And look, you get a chance to see. For those of you who don't know, there's a Ringo Starr, Bad Boy poster back there that nobody ever sees. And there's a Cavern Pennant. This served a dual purpose. And a giant Beatle poster back there. But anyway, yeah, that was the idea. And you'd put these on there. Now, the only thing about these is you'd watch this side, and then halfway through, you'd have to stop the machine and flip it over, just like a record, and play that side of it. Unless you had an automatic flipper, because some of them did. Some of the Laserdisc players had the ability for you to actually automatically have it flip when you watch, instead of having to get up and manually be inconvenienced. You know what? Let's look at one more. What the heck? I'm just going to pull one out at random. Here's number 5. It figures number 5 is typical of the ones I've been showing. But, yeah. Number 5. What the hell? One more and I'll be done here. I'm going to pull one out of the middle here. Number 3. That's the other part of this. Well, these go together? I guess they do, huh? Look at that. Anyway, so that's fun. Now here's compact disc music, the audio, right? They had so many outtakes and live tracks and so many things that we weren't used to hearing. Some of the Decca auditions were released on here. The early Quarrymen recordings, In Spite of All the Danger, That'll Be the Day. This is a long box, a CD long box. CDs used to come in these things. It was a cardboard long box. When you flip through the records or CDs, you'd have this to go through. And the actual disc is down in here. To help with that, I'm going to show you the standalone CD. This is how the CDs came out, standalone like that. When they weren't in the box. I think you could get them either way. I don't ever remember originally buying them in a box. I got this many years later. I don't think I remember mine being in a box, but maybe I'm mistaken. Anthology 3 on CD. Right? Well, anyway, in these long boxes, the CDs were usually in the bottom here inside. You know, this was all dead, empty cardboard, and then they had it in the bottom. I just showed you the long box. Here's a shorter box. This is for the Beatles Anthology 2. This is also a boxed one, but this was, as you could see, in a smaller box as compared to the long box. And these are both sealed. I have no reason to open them. Why? Because I already have them individually like that. These are my playing copies. And then, of course, the first single that excited everybody, the new Beatles song, Free as a Bird. Free as a Bird. And I think this will lead us, and Real Love, by the way, the second single, Real Love. This will lead us into discussing the songs. It's already been said that Free as a Bird and Real Love have been, now what's the right word, remastered, remixed. The sound quality has been improved. Now, they did the best they could back in 1994, 95, when the three Beatles survived. Paul, George, and Ringo got together and used John's demo tapes to try to make something out of this. But John's voice always sounded far away, sounded like he was in a closet or somewhere, or underwater or something like that. And they did what they could do with the technology. But now with Peter Jackson and his MAL technology, you saw the wonderful things he was able to do with the Get Back project that came out. So he has, I believe it's him, and his technology has been working even more on these, and I'm sure what we're going to get is going to be fantastic, because the technology for that is just so much better. And we heard what they were able to accomplish with the Now and Then single that came out in 2023. So you know that they can do better, and I'm looking forward to that. Let's just go for a couple of more items here. I also got all three of the releases on vinyl. So this is Anthology 2, and it had a gatefold and opened up. Well, I'll do the best I can here. We're talking about a three-way gatefold. And this particular copy that I have, and you can help if I can open it up, kind of preserves the cellophane that was on the outside with the sticker, the hide sticker. There's all those Beatles photos and everything. And yeah, these were the vinyl. This was the vinyl edition of number 2. And as I say, I have all three. Okay, so let's talk now about some speculation. To start with, let's talk about this huge anthology book that came out. Oh man, I tell you, you really get your weightlifting in with these items, okay? Beatles Story. Very good book. I've looked at many quotes from here. You learn a lot from this book. This thing has been re-released. I have no interest in getting it again because from what I'm hearing, it's the same thing really. There's nothing new or different or altered in this book. It's the same thing. If you have the old one, you don't need the new one. And I've heard that this is a soft cover book now, not just the hardcover. So you won't be hitting any would-be burglars over the head with the soft cover. Now, let's talk about some other things regarding the new anthology. Okay, speculation. Is there going to be another album, Anthology 4, that has new outtakes, new unreleased material? Maybe that Anthology 4 will have Now and Then put on it, right? Because we had Anthology 1 had Free as a Bird. Number 2 had Real Love. Number 3, we didn't get it Now and Then because back then at the time, they deemed it wasn't really worthy enough to do. And part of that was because of the tape noise that went through it. And the other one was because I think George Harrison just wasn't too wild about the song. But on the new one, will they put another volume out and put Now and Then on? Or will they just release the same old 3 that we had exactly as they were, only for number 3, they'll put Now and Then on the third one, as should have been originally in the 90s. I don't know. Do you know? Nobody knows. Now, will the documentary be extended? Now, that's one thing. If they're just going to put out the same documentary we've already had and known for 30 years, I don't see the point, really, if there's no new bells and whistles. People are speculating that maybe they'll remaster it, get all the footage really remastered, put out a Blu-ray or a 4K. And then they'd have to do something for the old footage, though. The old footage that's kind of like weak and kind of hazy, and you can't really get the greatest quality out of some of the early films that they used. I don't know. There was an extended version. I don't know how many know that. A lot do. But if you don't know, there was an extended version of the anthology documentary. And it made the bootleg rounds. Some people have it. Some people are able to watch it. They can just release that. They can just put out Anthology again, the full cut. You want to call it director's cut, the originally intended cut. They could do that. Or they could just scrap that and just make a whole new thing. Not the extended cut that exists, but a whole new thing and put new footage in. I hope if they're going to do this, I'm going to give the anthology some attention. I hope it's not just the same one we've known for all these years. I want there to be something new in there. And remaster it as good as you can. But I realize some of the old footage, maybe not. Now, I was thinking it would be nice to have an EP, extended play, vinyl, 7-inch record or 12-inch record, but an EP released for Record Store Day near the end of the year. They have Record Store Day on Black Friday, usually that, Black Friday RSD. I would love to see them put out an EP that would have the new remixes and remasters of Free as a Bird, Real Love, and Now and Then all on one thing. So you can just go out if you want and own an EP with those 3 new songs. Or if they can make it 4, if they can find something else to put out, make it 4 tracks. Or just the 3 would be fine on that. I'd like to see that for maybe Record Store Day, a special release. Okay, now the question also is this going to be just available on streaming? Is it just going to be available only to watch on one of these channels on cable, or is it going to be physical media like we're used to having, like I showed before? Well, you have to have physical media because physical media is forever. Whereas streaming and showing on cable, that could be temporary. You want to have it in your hands. You want to have a physical copy. I'm particularly talking about the movie now, the visual item, not so much the CD, but that too. You always have it in your collection forever for when you want it. And if they ever decide to take it off, and for any reason they don't offer it anymore on the menu on streaming, you'll always have it anyway, so who cares? I got stuff up there. They could take all that stuff off streaming forever, and I have it to watch. Okay? So let's just talk at the end here about Rubber Soul. Everybody wants Rubber Soul. They're doing all the albums. The last one was Revolver a few years ago. And everybody's thinking that you're going to get Rubber Soul at the end of the year because this is 2025, the 60th anniversary. I don't know for sure. My feeling tells me that we're not going to get Rubber Soul because the big project this year is going to be the Beatles Anthology. Hey, you never know. They could throw Rubber Soul in December and give you the anthology in October or November or something. But I'm not really counting on that. I'm thinking we're going to get Rubber Soul another time, maybe in 2026. Even though, of course, some people really get stuck with the exact dates. If it's not the exact anniversary year, it doesn't feel the same. I don't really care. An anniversary year is nice to coincide with a release, but just give me the stuff and I'm happy with it. Well, that's it, folks. That's some of my thoughts, what we might be able to expect. And I'm glad I used this opportunity to pull out some of my old Beatles anthology stuff and revisit it. It was a lot of fun for me, and I hope it was fun for you. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Lots of good Beatles-related content here. Cheers.